bands from all around the world, or wherever, Mars even. Who knows? It's Musical People and Journeys. It's new rock album review time, and with me to tell you what we thought of the albums, and then give them our rating out of 5. It's Simon. Hello. It's Chris. Hello. And it's Trish. Hello. So, today we're reviewing Cedar, South African band. We don't hear that much. The album is called The Surface Seems So Far. I put a whole lot of blog from their wiki on the video, so go and check it out if you want to know more about this band, because in the meantime we're just going to get in. We're just going to dive straight in and tell you whether we think that Surface seems so far, or whether we're going to break through and get it into the Hall of Fame. Let's find out, and let's hope that we're not seething at the end of this review. Trish, Cedar, tell me, what do you think?
Hello. Well, as soon as this album started, my ears pricked up with listening joy as the opening track written all over it with its dark melodic tones. So I was excited to see what this album would bring. What it brought me was a new band to my music library. I really love the track's Illusion for its musicality and Semblance of Me for its emotionally hitting lyrics. A little gem of dark melodic rock, this album is.
Well, I'll tell you, it's not a gem of dark, because he's full of light. And that's Simon. Simon, what do you think of Cedar?
Yeah, and Gasoline is a permanent feature of my personal playlist, and their album Karma and Effect was frequently being played way back in the day. So
oh,
yeah,
right.
I've been.
So you've heard this band before?
Oh yeah,
oh, right, okay.
Long time ago, many decades ago. But I didn't follow the band's journey, so this is my reintroduction to them in quite a long time. And this new album has kind of left me with mixed feelings. The lyrics have changed and are more about frustration at the world, I guess, than actual anger and, angsty teen stuff like back in the day. So the lyrics have evolved, but the sound still seems very much the same. Maybe a tang bit heavier or something, but this is awkward, isn't it? Is that enough of an evolution over the last sort of 2 decades? Like, legacy bands like this have a really tough time because change too much and you'll alienate fans. But then also we don't want to hear the same sound for all these decades. So it's very difficult for them, which I appreciate. So I did enjoy the album. It really took me back to teenage years, but I also haven't gone back to this album after listening to it a few times for this, and I think that sort of says something about this album compared to their previous work. But yeah,
Chris.
Hello. Yeah, so similar to Simon, I have heard of Cedar before, and again, it was in the sort of the uni days, but I didn't follow them in the same way I did with Nightwish, so it's kind of being a reintroduction to them. As Trish said, the opening song opens up with some quite nice and light guitar work, and then slaps you in the face with a whole load of rock, and I really like that sort of thing. The problem I have with this, well, either this evolution of Cedar, I think it was the same previously, is that they seem to go for screamo when I'm not necessarily looking for it. Try to Heal is a beautiful song that then breaks down into metalcore just at the wrong time, and for a purpose that I'm not entirely sure of the reason as to why. So it's kind of, I'm listening to it, I'm enjoying it, and then the screamo comes in, and it's like I think Nigel said earlier this month, and we've said it on a couple of other videos, when it emphasises the song and the emotion of where you are in the track at that point, great. Where it doesn't, it feels out of place, and it felt out of place there. Semblance of Me is another one that starts off deep, introspective, and almost gets a bit haunting as you go through the track, and then the screaming starts, and it just stops me listening. Or it takes me out of listening to the song and going with it. So yeah, I mean, it's what Cedar do, and as Simon says, it's a classic Cedar sound without being original Cedar that is now 20 years old and out of date, that sort of thing. So you can tell that it's Cedar that is playing, and they have a huge fan base that love it for very good reasons. I'm just not one of that fan base, I'm afraid.
I think me and Trish are on a different planet to the rest of you. I mean, this is. Yeah, I put,
We're on Earth, you're on Mars. You said
well,
that.
no, because it's very interesting. Because I didn't think the metalcore overtook this album. In fact, it got up to where my kind of threshold is and stayed there. And I thought it didn't ruin the song. I think it bled in quite nicely. Actually, it was some of there was one or two tracks that was a bit too angry, but nothing over the top or major. And I thought this was an absolute cracker. Judas Mind was brilliant. Walls Come Down. What a tune that was. That's a thoroughly brilliant hard rock kind of album, really. And I know we've heard similar with kind of Boston Manor and etc. And Sinner's Blood this month. But I just think this was fantastic. I really did. I thought it was brilliant. And looking at the Will score as well, without giving the game away, and I think to myself, well, I like to bring hard rock and vary it up. And I think, oh, the guys will like this because it's hard rock and it's got a little bit of like that metalcore kind of sound to it. They're going to love it. And I get it all wrong. It just doesn't. Yeah, well, no, I don't get it all wrong because. But because hey, me and Trish got a kick out of it, and we absolutely loved the album. I just thought, I mean, I don't know what more you could want from a hard rock kind of album. It had a bit of everything in there. It had a bit of metalcore in there. I don't know, maybe you guys are either has to be not metalcore or metalcore. I don't know. I just thought that they blended the album. The sound was terrific all the way through the album. Brilliant. Really good. Terrific. I'd say, not a perfect album for me because it was a bit too angry up on places, but nothing I couldn't cope with. Terrific album. Loved
I think it's different because you're approaching this for the first time, whereas like me and Chris have been hearing this for years and years. So it's interesting. Just like it's not that we don't like it, but it's because we've heard it
the whole night.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like when we listen to what I call generic rock, 80s kind of. Oh, I've heard all this before, and it's like maybe on the sky high enough. But anyway, what did we score it?
Part of our journey.
Part of the journey.
That's the other thing I did want, because we've mentioned it a few times sort of in passing, and it is something that it does kind of resonate with me sometimes when I say it, and then other times I don't. I've listened to stuff like Bring Me the Horizon. I used to listen to Slipknot, and I still do quite a lot, and Marilyn Manson and all that sort of stuff. And if you want a proper kind of screamy, angry tracks with a lot of screamo in it, which I like, there's perfect examples of it. And yet there are some albums like this one with Cedar where there is not a lot of metalcore, but when it comes in, it just doesn't feel like the right place. And for me, it takes me out of where I was in listening to the song.
Yeah.
And I listened to Bullet for My Valentine and Bring Me the Horizon, Revenge Sevenfold, all those who have a lot of it, but it works better in those tracks than it does here. And that's where there is a balance to it. And I think it's a really odd balance for me to try and strike, because sometimes I really like it and sometimes I just don't. And it either works or it doesn't. And that's where we get the disparity in what we're listening to, what you think we might like, and then what we actually do like. It's just it's a fun journey that we're on, isn't it?
It certainly is. It certainly is. Well, anyway, will they get into a Hall of Fame? Let's find out, shall we? Trish, what did you give? What did you give Cedar?
4.5.
Wow.
Trish, I'm going to match your 4.5 with my very own 4.5. Simon.
Yeah, drag it down a little bit with a 3.
Chris.
I'm going to drag it down not quite that far, and I'm going to go with a 3.5.
We'll only give it a 2.5. It's got an 3.6, which puts it. Didn't get into a Hall of Fame. Shame. It was our joint 8th. It's got the same as Nightwish, by the way. It's got the same as Nightwish. 156 out of 444 albums that we've reviewed since we started this series, and 58 out of 142 this year. Didn't get into Hall of Fame, but what did you guys think? What did you people out there? Do you agree, disagree? Hit the like, subscribe button, leave a comment, let us know what you thought. Anyway, thank you very much to our wonderful panel, to Trish, to Chris, and to Simon. Bye for now, everybody. Keep rocking.
Bye.
That's all.